in the lane to be able to constantly poke and prod, and that's where these kind of flexible offlane heroes really enable that. And you know, NIGMA, they go straight back for the TA because they were comfortable with it. They knew how to play around it. They just kind of lacked the continued control. We could also just say simply they didn't have enough stuns, but yeah, like they played around it pretty well. It's just they didn't have that extra little bit of something.
Roll is more than stuns, my friend Cheap. Do you think this TA was a problem for NIGMA last series, or do you think it's just the dressing around the TA that was the issue?
I like the TA, and I think it's good. Although I will say, I think Hellbear are really taking advantage right now of NIGMA's unwillingness to play certain heroes. They picked DK Hoodwink. I think a lot of teams would respond with a Timbersaw here. It's not banned. It's really good right now. Great against both those heroes, but NIGMA just don't play mind control. He leans far more into these team fighting heroes like Axe, Mars, Sand Tide, like we just saw. So I think that it's good from Hellbear that they're taking advantage of that. NIGMA just going to take this TA instead, which I think is fine, but I would have liked to have seen Timber.
Well, we've short time for Timber. It's not been banned out by either team. NIGMA could ban it out themselves here in a radical kick flip of a move, but they're going to take out that Luna on Hellbear and final ban coming out from Team NIGMA. If you're in Rasmus's ears, T-Governor, as you have been on many occasions where you live as the Aurora, what are you telling him to pick now?
Oof. Well, I'm telling him to pick just more stuns. I'd actually even tell him just play the DK mate. You know, just allow Boromir to play this kind of jumping style of mid lane or have a bit more impact and just sacrifice yourself in the draft. I think often Smashers get into a position of overflexing and they get a bit too happy. Oh, let's go here, let's go there. And they get to like 4th pick and like, wait, what do we have? So I think right now it's just let this be your offlane duo and then just play them.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you. I was just going to say the idea of the tip, I think maybe why they won't ban it out is because they're forcing NIGMA down the same route as Game Run. It's like you have this one stun, and if you want to pick this good counter to our opening duo, you're going to sacrifice this big impact on the offlane, and that's why they're not really.
Seconds remaining.
It's like Daedalus. Everybody says Daedalus. It's actually Daedaloxin.
Actually, Daedalus.
Okay, it gives him a head start.
Another shot. Oh, okay.
Just like Lincoln's.
Lincoln's.
Yeah, I play a ranked game. I'm like, you guys bring some Lincoln's for. Like what?
I think that might be Link Eye, you know? A couple of Link Eye.
I got 2 Link Eye on me.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Hard terms in DOTA. It's not just a complicated game, but the English is all complicated. Perfect education tool for your children, guys. No.
Especially when we make up the plurals of all these other notes.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't tell them to listen to us when it comes to education. It's a very educational game.
Tower is under attack.
Listening to us is not the best idea.
Is under attack.
CJ, Bushwhack, Sunstrike.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Kind of making it easy, but not moving.
Yep, my level 4 exit also.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The biggest amount of damage.
Radiant team pick.
Like, Initiator men
You're making a face too. What's that
I
face?
was when
What's up,
when you said classic, and I was like
Oh, no.
Fury.
No, not
you know, like-
Furion. Anything but
Five
Furion.
seconds remaining.
How a terrible Furion game this would be.
Alright, so right now, Nigma's lineup is
Dire
like
team
enters a lane winner and has some kind of presence there. Okay, don't pick Furion now. Alright, don't do it. There's a TB.
No, you should
point.
pick Furion. This is really great. Really good.
Alright, okay, my hope. If they picked any other like weaker carry style hero,
PL?
then maybe I could go for that.
Oh, it's banned.
Pietru? No,
No,
is
it's
it banned?
banned.
Where?
It's banned. It's
Oh,
banned.
it's down there.
10
Yeah,
seconds
alright.
Teams
Point,
counted
point, yeah.
themselves.
Dire team back.
But yeah, no, like Nigma right
Drow
now,
Ranger.
it's about presence in the lane, right? It's like the Enchantress will win lane, TA will farm jungle. They now go for the Drow themselves because, of course, Drow v TB, you always can just execute the TB from range. And they are going to play
Radiant
completely
team back.
skirmishing. They're not going to farm for 15-20 minutes and wait. They're going to be the ones being proactive, is what we wanted to see from them in game one.
We've got last picks coming up here with Hellbear Smashers probably looking for a mid laner and Team Nigma probably looking for an off laner. I mean, when I say probably, I
10
mean almost
seconds
definitely looking
remaining.
for an off laner. Sheep, what sort of? I've asked before about the
5
off laner that you'd
seconds
like to see on Team Nigma. Is it still for you that Mind Control Classic, or does the Drow offer some sort of other alternatives?
I would really like to see Doom on Nigma. Excellent hero to deal with
Dire
terribly.
team back.
Phoenix, you get this refresher, you can just deal with them both. I don't want to deal with anything. I think Phoenix is a relatively weak lane support, so if they are playing as a 5, you're not too worried about this lane. I don't think he got armor buff, so you can deal with laning a little bit better in the off lane.
10
I think it's
seconds
a
remaining.
good hero who can go in first with this Nix. I think it provides what they want. I think it'd be great.
5 seconds
So-
remaining.
And T, how about you? What do you want to see on Hellbears closing up in this mid lane?
I want to see a hero that can
Radiant
get onto the
team
Drow
back.
and prevent her from just kind of popping off. They're banning out Batrider and Mars, which would have been these kind of quirky. So Mars would have been off lane, but potentially these kind of quirkier mid lanes that can just do that kind of job. And I feel like maybe even a Storm. Sure, there's a next the game, but like a Sanj Kaya BKB style
10
Storm Spirit that
seconds
just
remaining.
always just finds the hero. Again, stuns are a big issue for Nigma. They have Nyx,
5
they have
seconds
maybe a
remaining.
Centaur creep in Enchantress, a Gust on Silent on Drow. That's it, you know. So I feel like these just big mobile mid lanes, be it the Storm, get Drow, play around that. TB will eventually just, you know, play around the rest of the fight.
Warren Asia's still
Dire
got
team.
Void Spirit and Storm Spirit to in his pool here as they ban out the Underlord. So quite a lot of those stun picks. I was thinking Mars for Team Nigma. I'm surprised they banned it because that's another classic mind control one. There's not a lot of offlaners left because both teams have been banning out offlaners
10
consistently. here.
seconds remaining.
So it could be something like a Centaur. We're in the
5
interesting world of
seconds
offlaners remaining.
The Timber is still available, right? Like,
Timber is
I don't think you want to play that in
No
the
stuns?
Phoenix.
yeah, true, the break, yeah. I'm just trying to think, like,
Radiant
they
team
don't really have
pick.
stuns now. Oh, there's the Timber. Hey.
What do I know?
You
What
get
do I know? I'm just bad.
I did it. No, that's fine. Don't worry. No, but you are though in regards to the idea of like the Timber. It doesn't feel great for the big picture point of the game, where there's the break on the Hoodwink, the Phoenix Sunray,
10
all this stuff.
seconds
Not good for the
remaining.
break. But the first 15 to 20 minutes, this hero will pop off. And that's
5
why the
seconds
Drow, the
remaining.
Ench, these heroes play with that. They're kind of fully subscribing to popping off, not playing for late. And that's why I kind of like the idea of Timber. But again, I can see Sheep's kind of concerns with the hero as well.
Sheep, what
feel
you
like
were
they
talking
get
about a
bursted.
lot when you were, sorry to interrupt, but what you were talking about a lot when you introduced this draft of what you wanted from Team Nigma was stuns. They've got one stun
You
properly
may now
here.
select your
How do you feel
heroes.
about this draft as we see that Storm Spirit that we were predicting?
I don't quite like it, but if we're going by what T says that they're just going to run at you really fast, I think their lineup fulfills that without needing all this great pick off. I think if they get into this mid to late game, they're going to struggle a lot. They don't have anything to protect this Drow going further into the game. So it will get rough for Nigma, but if they are good enough to execute this type of draft, so I think, you know, they can still put up a good fight.
Okay,
Yeah.
T, do you think Team Nigma are good enough to execute this, or are you predicting a Hellbears win?
If they bring Ench Nyx to mid lane and prevent Storm from having good time farming jungle farming lane, offset his time, I can see Nigma winning this. If Storm has a decent game,
10
has one or two
seconds
items,
remaining.
when Nigma's pushing for high ground, they are eventually going to fall flat to one of those pickups.
5
And I think
seconds remaining.
Hellbear Smashers should be able to take this going later. So all emphasis on how they shut down the mid lane right now from Nigma.
Right. Nigma run away from it, or is it coming home for Hellbear Smashers? I'm going to hand over to the sumptuous sound of Cinderin and Sunstan.
Sumptuous. Wow. We're gonna have a new word every time, huh? You're gonna Google every word that you actually know the definition beforehand?
Splendid and expensive looking. Yeah, I mean, this shirt is,
I did have a lot of work on my face. I will say that, so technically very true.
And more to go.
A lot. We need liposuction necks just for the neck area. But yeah, we have game 2 of this best of 3 Cinder and Hellbear Smashers versus Team NIGMA. NIGMA are the heavy favorites, I would say. I don't know if that's going too far. They lost game 1. Of course, the panel talked about the Smashers. They have been known to win a game and then lose the rest. Are you expecting a similar result here today?
I like their strategy. Again, I think, like the panel again pointed out, there's one stun in the Nyx. If the Nyx doesn't get to thrive and shut down a lot, you have the Storm Spirit on the enemy team with a lot of space. And I do, again, feel like it's not the same as game 1, aside from the fact that they only have this one hero with a stun, because this time I think NIGMA are playing a faster tempo than last game. Last game they were farming a lot with their gyro, with their TA, with their tide. This time their offlaner being a Timbersaw can put a lot more pressure on the map and play higher tempo than a Tide can. Just lower cooldowns, earlier power spike. So that's definitely good for them, but I don't know. I'm still not sold. I need to see it in action. I need to see NIGMA put their pedal to the metal and really get something done here early on. And if there's one hero Kuro, like, let's think back to the major. There's one hero where Kuro pops off, it's Ench. So we had that game where he went like 7-0 in the first, I want to say 10 minutes.
I think he got an ultra kill that game, if I'm not mistaken.
He was very, very far.
And we'll see if he has a similar result this time around. But for the Smasher side, shout out to the guy that tweeted at me. Really appreciate you. The correct pronunciation is Borania, Cinderin.
I got another tweet.
Did you? And?
Yes, which says both are correct. It can either be Borania or Borania, depending on which accent you use. He thinks it's probably Borania because of a big N in the name.
Yes.
And it means green beans.
Great. I'm not a big fan.
Green beans.
Are you a fan of green beans?
Yeah, they're actually pretty. I do like
battle
begins.
Good for you. I'm glad you like something in life.
But I don't like celery, so when Viking are playing later, we can hate on that.
I love I mean, I like the player celery. Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm on the same train as you. As we're gonna see a split of the bounties. There's absolutely zero action. I feel like we've been seeing less action in the last month for the level 1 bounties. I don't know if it's just me. Remember when it was first implemented with nighttime, we started seeing like these first bloods every single game, basically. It feels like it's kind of died off a bit. Why do you think that is?
Denied! Good question. I guess if you do stack on bounties, you do run the risk of, well, what if the enemy team just isn't there? Then you end up trading regardless, but your heroes now have to cross the entire map to get to their lanes, or use a TP, which is a very valuable resource. So I think a lot of the times maybe players are just looking at like the risk reward. If we stack the rune, does it matter? And if we don't stack, the maximum amount of heroes we can realistically send to a rune is 3. Because if we send any more, we're either not blocking mid or we're not in our other side lane. So, yeah, I guess it's just like a natural progression of it. There are still some level 1 smokes pulled off, but I feel like they often find the kill before the bounties rather than on them.
What do you think of this setup as
Tofu's super dead.
And getting completely blocked out, and that is first blood for NIGMA. I was going to ask, what do you think of it started as ILTW and GH in this thing, Kuroki coming in to help backstab there, but what are your thoughts on the laning setup for
I think it's perfect for NIGMA. This is what you want. It's such a good top lane for Timbersaw against Dragon Knight +1. They don't have enough damage between Hoodwink and DK to realistically kill Mind Control, and as soon as he gets level 3, he'll just thrive here. He's just gonna farm. And in the meantime, this bottom lane of Smashers will struggle because Terrorblade, while he would be decent against the dual lane here, the tri-lane factor just makes him too susceptible, and he has to always be scared when Enchantress is missing and trying to find a flank. Kuro's actually going to elect to go mid here with a Or Tormentor. This would be a very unexpected gank for Bornea.
Bornea is very low right now. You can see the Hellbear, the Shockwave comes out, the blocks to continue, with his own wave contributing to it. Has to pump the Fairy Fire, but in the end, Miracle gets, actually it's Kuroki, gets the kill with Seda.
Classic Kuro.
Very sad indeed, as we're going to see another kill on a solo. Wow. Okay, so each lane, there's a kill for NIGMA. But
I don't know how valuable that kill was for Mind Control. He lost a full wave of creeps that Rasmus is holding at the tower, so I'm gonna chalk that death up to honestly being a trade.
Radiant are scanning.
You see Rasmus coming out here. They're playing a dual lane, and Rasmus has the same experience as Mind Control right now. So that means all of that experience on Hoodwink is just extra. So they are winning the lane in terms of overall experience gain, but still nice for Mind Control to find a kill, of course. But he does have the 2 CS to the 12 of Dragon Knight. They're definitely,
That is true. I mean, there's a certain point where Timbersaw, once you get level 4, I assume, and it's basically unkillable, at least in most matchups. Is that pretty consistent with this one, or is it a little bit different?
Usually you will go 1-0-2 or 0-1-2, so you get the 2 in reactive on level 3, but he skilled the Timber Chain to find that kill on the Hoodwink. So yeah, he's delaying the immortality almost in the lane to level 4, like you said, and he's grabbing that now. I think, honestly, I like this from Gilger. Like, if Rasmus has this good of a start on the Dragon Knight that he can 1v1 in this lane and just farm, Gilger can try to deal with the pressure elsewhere on the map, and by moving after Kuro is essentially giving Terrorblade farm bot. Otherwise, doing great. Ace has 17. 16 for 9 on the Terrorblade after Kuro started bot for that tri-lane action. And of course, when you rotated mid for that kill, you open up the space for mid, but yeah, Smash is doing long lanes.
Well, mid lane, I mean, Miracle obviously, well, he didn't technically get the kill, but he has double the CS right now over Bornea in this mid lane. TA versus
Huge
Storm.
advantage from that Ench gank.
That helped quite a bit.
Ace bot? Ace is dead.
Okay. Yep. Oh, that last right click, not quite enough, but Kuroki is in the vicinity. Ace does have a TP available. We'll use it. Go to the tier 1. I should be successful in doing so. Gilger, in the meantime, does get up a nice bushwhack, so they do see 3 members of NIGMA here.
Enchantress.
And Salvan Ace will keep them safe. So that was extremely close, but I mean, it's not a good matchup in general with Kuro having that level of impetus. Any magic or pure damage against this hero. Timbersaw obviously great against Terrorblade at certain points of the game. I mean, what do you think of the hero in general this game? It was the 4th pick, I believe, right, from the Smashers.
Honestly, a lot of the time when it comes to later in the game for Terrorblade, I think one of the biggest threats to him is getting stunned. Like, that's when you can't get your Sunder off and you can get bursted 100-0. It's hard to see NIGMA pull that off in this game in one mixed stun. They probably need all of TA, Timber, and Drow to be able to connect once Ace has a couple of items. So I think it's a good Terrorblade game later on. But for now, obviously some of the counters are definitely very much in play, like you said, the Enchantress. The Drow is pretty good in lane against Terrorblade, especially when she reaches level 6. And Ace might just go jungle anyway.
Radiant's middle tower is under
You
attack.
talked about it just now, and the panel kind of talked about earlier as well, the fact that the lack of stun from NIGMA again, like 2 games in a row.
Dire's
Is this just something they're, like, obviously when you have a lesser stuns on your side, it's harder to execute, generally speaking. But is it just something they're really comfortable with? Like, is this like a planned thing? It just happens to be heroes that they want to play that just don't have stuns? Are we just overstating this fact that they have lack of stuns in general?
It's better this time because Nyx's stun is not Ravage, right? It's a lower cooldown, so you have it more frequently, and you do have a secondary stunning Carapace as
bot lane. Toku's dead. She's gonna dive all the way around 360. Beautifully done, but ILPW is getting blocked up by Gilger. In the meantime, Ace has that metamorphosis, so they're able to clean him up. Very high value kill for Smashers.
That's great for Smashers bottom lane, getting a 2-for-1. Under those conditions, their Phoenix got jumped and they immediately just popped Metamorphosis and traded right back. Yeah, just to follow up on the stuns, I don't think that's like a plan they have going into the game, that they're like, hey guys, let's not pick stuns in this series. Like, I don't.
Maybe they have a
like
quest
a really weird way of strategizing. Yeah. So it sounds like a weird way of strategizing, but yeah, I'm still feeling like they should have at least one more hero that has lockdown. I feel like just having Nyx is hard. It's still better than just having Tide. Unless, so here's where the last game's line up. This is a little bit of a tangent, I guess, but in the last game, to put it simply, a lot of the time if you have very few stuns, but the stun you do have is a big team fight one, it can work very well if you can force the enemy team to come fight you at towers, right? That's your quote-unquote catch, is that you go to towers and they need to defend. But what were the coordinates? It was TA and Gyro. It wasn't like a Dragon Knight or a Terrible Ace. That's what to smash that tower so you have to come fight it into advantage. So I do think that there was a bit of a disconnect there. Those are the games where I like the one stun tied kind of.
No.
Did that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, the very long tangent. I mean, they do have the Centaur Stomp. We failed to mention, obviously, Enchantress will be valuing that.
Gonna have that all game.
Very respectable creep, of course. You just got to put in the gold, and you will get that creep that you want every time. But in addition, you talk about Nyx Assassin. We've been seeing Aghanim Scepter like every single freaking game on this hero, and it has had huge impact on games. As GH is going to find a stun onto Gilgan in the meantime, but there's a TP out, and like you said, no stuns after that Impale without that Centaur in tow.
It's still good though. Like, yeah, he doesn't die, but they force him away, and this is now a naked tower that nobody's getting experience at. Obviously, the Hoodwink wants to sit there and just leech, so it's kind of a pseudo kill, forcing the TP back to base, just now going to waste. And Terblade has decided to leave the lanes. Rasmus is really far up here.
He was trying to apply some pressure to this tier 1, but NIGMA are here in numbers, and there we can see the Spike Carapace set up another stun, but it's not quite enough to take out Token. In the meantime, Bornea trying to finish off Miracles. Ace has made his way onto
no mana on
the field as well. And Mind Control not able. He has Soul Ring in 3 seconds, and saved by his team as Bornea has to use basically the rest of his mana pool just to get out of the right click range here. I mean, this is something we didn't talk about from NIGMA's side. Between the TA, eventually, obviously, and the Drow, they have some major push potential.
Miracle's hungry. Oh, nice juke from Tofu. Very nice.
It's going to be found out here, though. Gets the Bushwhack off in the meantime. It's going to break things up, so no deaths in the mid lane.
I have not seen many jukes around that tree. This is obviously one of the newer features of the map, but very nice. He completely tricks Miracle, who was honestly very kill hungry there, and I understand. He has double damage. He felt invincible, so he went for it.
Bornea. Trouble him. Tails there, but the zip away. Multi-shot not quite enough. Now they're going to apply all the pressure to this tier 1 tower.
Radiant's middle tower
Smashers
is under attack.
can only delay the inevitable, it seems, as this tower is definitely dead now.
Loving this from NIGMA. It's exactly what their lineup wants to do. Use the Ember Sauce Power Spike, use the Enchantress to get this early pressure. Getting mid tower sub 10 is very big against Dragon Knight, who will usually be pushing your mid tower and forcing you to defend. You instead just killed him and the reverse. Immediate Uno reverse play.
Radiant are scanning.
Wow, I haven't played that in a while. You a big Uno player?
No.
Okay, well,
Good talk.
That's the best segment I've ever. We should add that to the podcast, I think. It's bottom lane, GH. And this is one thing about the Spike Carapace against Phoenix type heroes.
Under attack.
You get those Fire Spirits out, it's going to be a pretty much guaranteed stun. Rasmus getting pressure in the meantime. Top lane by Mind Control. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana to speak of, and only a couple right clicks done to this tower. Although it is at half HP, but Kuroki's here now. A couple right clicks with that impetus. Just trying to pressure Rasmus out so he doesn't get the tier 1 in one go.
Wasting Dragon Forms is really the name of the game for NIGMA here. They want to stay ahead on towers, so their biggest problem for the Dragon Knight is literally just how do I get through Timber? Because his team can't really kill him right now. This is nice from Rasmus. He's gonna cut through. He sees Timber at the front. He's gonna go hit the tower around the side and back off.
Dire's top tower
Getting whatever chip damage he can. But once again, Dragonform is now down, and he has yet to take a tower at 11 minutes on this DK. Job well done for NIGMA here.
Indeed. Now in useless human form, gets off the Dragon Tail, but that'll be the end of his reign for another 50 seconds. Bornea working on an Orchid. That's going to be his first item. Has the 1 Oblivion Staff right now.
I like that. They should rename the ability. They should have, like, powerful dragon form and useless human.
Radiant's top tower
to really, for new players, as a way of understanding how to play their hero.
Maybe it's unlocked with the new persona, which Rasmus does not have, sadly. Make the hero even easier to play. It's gonna get another Dragon Tail here. Yeah, we can just call that stun, right?
Yeah.
Give him the Slardar treatment. Ace is in the vicinity, along with Gilger here. Pushback not able to connect on the sharpshooter, will be in the blind. Will end up whiffing there. Another stun from Rasmus. He's gonna get pressure now. Mind Control gets off the Chakram. He's pretty
Really
careful here.
By the way, for Gilger to get the Ironwood Tree 2 games in a row.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It is so good on Hoodwink. So.
Do you think that there's a percentage?
Middle tower is under
They're
attack.
actually going to find GH. He's going to get zipped on as well. There is a sentry in the vicinity. And this is going to be an easy cleanup. So now you know there's a sentry there, but it costs him a death. What if the percentages of neutral items, and we didn't even know about it, just went up by X% if you're playing a specific hero?
Yeah. What if?
What if that was already in the game for the last 2 years and we didn't even know it? That'd be crazy.
There are tools that are stat tracking, right? I feel like that would become an anomaly at some point. If you look at the stats for every game played.
Stats lie. I don't know if you've heard that. That's a very common thing.
Stats are a lie. Correct.
Absolutely. Mind Control. All right. Reflection is there. Timber Chain to the other side. Doesn't have a whole lot of. Pushback is going to connect into the metamorphosis, into the zip as well, and the sharpshooter just to make sure they're able to take out that pesky timber saw. Now the tier 1 tower. Rasmus finally able to finish this off. So, like you said, it took 13.5 minutes.
Dire's top tower.
It's looking great. I think Gilger's doing a very good job of just playing the. I think the biggest strength of Hoodwink in the first 15 to 20 minutes is just his ability to just be kind of a, it's an assassin. It's kind of playing like Nyx.
Radiant's bottom
that it's coming out of trees where you don't expect it. Even if you have vision in the lanes, you can still get flanked somehow out of an angle you didn't think about, and just sets up that nice stun burst combo similar to what Nyx does. So
right,
it is. I think a ranged Nyx is. Sounds pretty powerful to me.
Yeah, I would say so.
Dire's
He's a melee hero.
are fortified.
Tier 1 tower getting pressured in the bot lane. Looks like it's just going to deny. Actually had the
Radiant's
opportunity,
bottom
but
tower has
wants to
fallen.
stay in the shadows right now. Borania. This is another target from GH perspective. You can get up an easy spike carapace setup as long as there's a teammate nearby.
Yeah, if you need
just
TN near,
static
find
on
this. He has haste on Miracle. Oh, Borania.
Yeah, things have kind of settled down a bit now that these couple tier 1 towers have been taken out. If you're just joining us, the Hellbear Smashers are actually up 1-0, similar to what the Suns are in the NBA Finals versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, good spoiler.
In case you weren't keeping up on the NBA news. That was not Vendetta. That goes moved up. Wait. That's the jump in. Okay, Sharpshooter's actually not going to connect. So no break onto the timber saw here. Ooh, this could be a big stun. GH looking for the impale. Only going to connect on one, but it's a very important hero. The Gust is there as well, and the easy cleanup for Team NIGMA. Looks like Gilger will be next on the menu for Mr. Miracle. Double kill for him. That's going to be a tier 1 tower as well.
Miracle is insanely farmed. 10 CS a minute. He's going to go straight to Roche in these 20 seconds. I think they're going to grab this as well. So huge swoop here from NIGMA on that move. Getting the Gust on Storm crucial. It was a nice Orchid coming out from Borania, but he was already stunned, and then he can take for LTW to land that Gust, and they will give this Aegis more than likely over to Miracle so he can keep the ball rolling. Looking at the Blink Dagger with a minute and a half or so. And getting the last hit on Roach for the bonus goal. It's pretty concerning for Smashers right now. I think compared to the last game, the position that they're in with their lineup, it feels like the pressure is mounting a lot more. Where NIGMA were sitting back in game 1, they're really just fighting them a lot, using this timber saw and the Nyx.
Bottom lane, GH gets off the initiation, but the egg is there from Tofu. I thought they had enough damage for sure, but instead it's going to be a cleanup crew onto GH. ILTW dies on the other side of the map in the meantime. Was that the Orchid reveal? I believe so. So it's a 2-for-0 across the map for Smashers.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Not expecting that.
Now all I can think about is Rom.
Tofu?
Egg from Tofu. As could really...
Yeah, that would have been a good name for Rasmus, maybe. By the way, I got the heads up from T-Gov on the lore behind Rasmus's name. Obviously, it's his first name. We already knew that.
Yeah.
Apparently, you were correct in the fact that he thought Misery was too depressing. So he changed it to his first name. And then the reason that the A and the S are capitalized is because he thought it looked cool. That's literally it. That is the greatest lore
Dire's top
of
tower
any
is
name.
under attack.
I think you
in
should
the history of
capitalize
Dota.
the last S as well, so it's ass. That's kind of, I think
Yeah,
that's and that's very.
I'm not sure if he's
Dire
close
are
with
scanning.
Too Good, but that could be another question
Dire's
entirely.
top
This
tower is under
double
attack.
stack is going to be found here from Team NIGMA. They'll be able to clean it up pretty easily now that Miracle has the
Daggers coming out.
The hidden ones.
I
Dire's
I think it's
top
really
tower
good
is under
for
attack.
NIGMA here. You want to put pressure. Now that you have the dagger on TA, you are way less reliant on Nyx's catch to get on top of specific heroes. Like the TA can basically two-shot Phoenix, two-shot Hoodwink. You need to have pretty quick
Dire's
reactions
courier
and
has
these
been
heroes to get
killed.
away in time. If there's literally anything else connecting on you than the TA, you just die. So you're going to Tofu here. He's in a trap. Let's see if Miracle tries for it. Tofu with a good sidestep around the trees here. Really fortunate timing, actually. But there's the third attack coming in.
Oh, the Yules gives him a little bit of extra time, and he's actually salving on top
the
of
side
it.
blade. Oh, that looked spicy for a moment.
Sideblade did clip him, so the salve gets canceled.
How is that even a hit?
That was pretty far range.
Did you see out of the
The trap out. Yeah, they're scared. Courier was killed
I
on
see
from Miracle's
death.
side not too long ago. Has the Death of Blink like you talked about the Dragon Eyes, and ILTW dies again. We're gonna focus on
Back-to-back kills for
Ace
the
here.
Storm.
Thunder is available, but the stun just in time from GH, so position 1 for position 1. Now the chase is on. Still living.
One on
Yeah,
Nick's
okay.
team. It's not LTW this game. I think it's another guy.
Yeah, that's true.
He's very hungry, and he will find more food. 1, 2, 3. Not enough with
The
three shots.
rainbow. Rainbows have never hurt so much. Bushwhack is going to connect on one. Gilgert trying to use his ult to create a little bit of extra distance, but the triple kill from Miracle, pretty extended. This was over the span of a minute. But he is
Look at the net worth
on
of
another level
Radiant's
right
top
now.
tower is
He
under
is
attack.
4,000 net worth ahead of the next hero, and Nigma
Yeah.
have a 1k lead. So this is one of those games where it's I'm not gonna say it's
Radiant's
miracle
middle
against the
tower is
world
under
because that's like making it sound like these teammates are doing nothing. But you have so much net worth on one specific
I'll take
hero
that.
that is notorious for being snowbally and being susceptible in some cases. If Hellbear Smashers identify that the gold is sitting the way it is, killing Miracle just wins them fights. Because there's not enough in the
Radiant
tank from the rest of the
structures
lineup
are
with how much he has taken out of the bank.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Very, very good target
Dire's
for
courier
Hellbear Smashers
has
coming
been
going
killed.
forward here. And managed to lock that down. And he is very killable, right? He's playing without BKB. They don't have a save in their team. So if he gets caught by, say, a
Radiant's
Storm
middle tower
or a
is
Dragon
under
Tail
attack.
or by a Hoodwink Bushwhack,
Dire's top
I think
tower
you can
is
100
under
to, they can
attack.
100 to 0 him relatively easily, actually.
Yep, I agree. Oh, right now they can't because he has Aegis, but
Yes,
after
that's
that,
why they're playing so aggressive.
and as a result of this aggressiveness, the tier 2
Radiant's
tower
middle
looks to
tower
be
is under
basically
attack.
dead. Bornea is in the
Radiant are
vicinity.
scanning.
Up the Kaya right now. But yeah, looks like it's going to be a freebie. This is essentially what Aegis will get you. Outer towers at the very
Radiant's
least.
middle
Not sure if
tower
Nigma
has
actually want
fallen.
to force a fight,
Radiant's courier has been killed.
or if Hellbear Smashers will even try to fight at this stage. As you talked about the BKB, Miracle is 700 away from finishing it, so he is
Yeah.
gigantic.
There's a lot of good items coming out. Terrorblade is close to his BKB as well. 1k off. You've got the shard coming up for Phoenix in 50. They're actually choosing to smoke right before they get the shard. Dragon Knight could buy his Sanj, but he's holding on to buyback Rasmus. See if they do find anything with the smoke. The biggest pick possible is Miracle. Aegis has expired, so this is the reason they're smoking. And they're gonna see him on the wave. Oh, this is such a good move.
Pops
He's
the dragon
dead. He doesn't have dagger.
Link into the Dragon Tail, Sunray to follow, and yeah, this is an easy one.
Oh,
That
they
is
even get the
600 gold
bounty on
for
Ace. Perfect
Yeah.
for them. Gilgir, best efforts to kill steal there with Sharpshooter, but it was a little bit too slow. And unfortunately for him, the gold goes to his carry, who's more likely to win the game with that gold. So
Yeah, real shame.
Dire's
Real
middle
crying shame.
tower is under attack.
that's going to be BKB coming out for Ace now before the BKB of Miracle. Because of this one kill, it just swings the balance that much.
Dire's top tower
And
is
that's a
under
key
attack.
item for Hellbear Smashers, I think, in order to contest the Roche. So you might be like, why is Terrorblade choosing to go for BKB when he's literally only against the Nyx stun and a Gust? But the damage mitigation against Timbersaw is just huge. It allows him to stand his ground in the fights. He has a lot of armor against the TA, so he'll survive that in BKB. And against the Drow, he should also be able to handle it.
Right, Carapace and the Lotusaur basically stop this initiation and start things out, but it's not gonna matter. GH is done though. Mind control looks to the next ILTW on the high ground with the gust of image blow off Bora, Neon, and Rasmus thanks to Miracle's right clicks and make it a third. Ace takes a tumble, and just like that, Team NIGMA take a firm grip on this game. They even find a fourth in the back line here with Mind Control. And we talked about this, Cinderin, if there's no Roche, you can get buildings super fast with a Drow and a super farmed TA.
That looked really good for Hellbears. I completely understand why they went for that. Oh, they're gonna get Gilgir here as well.
True. All right, the Scurry being of some use, but delays it.
So they found the kill on Nyx, right? And they see Timber, and they feel like they're in a really good position. Miracle responds, comes back in, and he just two-shots them with Drow Aura. Like, that one Psyblade, I think, took 30 or 40% of Dragon Knight's health while he was hitting the Storm. They just vanished completely. And that is scary. Obviously, Storm's still susceptible to being gusted. I'm not completely sold on his item build of going Orchid Bloodstone here, because I think when you look at how their lineup functions, if Storm has the freedom to jump, the rest of the team can follow up so easily. So I would have personally liked the BKB here out of Borania, just so he can ignore Gust and ignore the Nyx and just be like, oh, I see a target I want, I can go. They're never going to stop me. But he is obviously very susceptible to that Gust, which has killed him twice this game now. And ILTW has even elected to go for a Shadow Blade just to find more Gusts, I think, against this hero.
Wow, he is. This is the pub build from Dota 1. Of course, Dragonlance didn't exist back then, but the Lothar's sniper / Drow meta. I don't know if you were that. That was a disgusting period in Dota history. A very dark time in our history.
It really was a disgusting time in Dota history. I remember Techies was my favorite hero.
Oh my god.
Those were my dark years.
Is that actually true? Is Tofu? He's gonna get spotted out. The silence is there. This is a miracle. Yeah. That Roche was the first Roche, right?
Yes.
So Miracle bought his shard actually. That's pretty cool. So he gets the silence on the traps.
I think yeah, they want the silence on traps against Storms, and if they do grab the second Roche, they're gonna give it to Timbersaw. Oh, they got the jumper here.
Oh, a bit of trouble here, but mind control through vicinity. Bornea's already tapped it. Big bushwhack onto two. Initiation Sharpshooter's gonna be connected, but it's on the Timbersaw. They really want Miracle plus the BKB. He dies anyway. Now Chakram off the two with the guts from the sideline. LBW with that Lothar to use the full effect. And get 2 4s out of this. The Sunder comes through though from Ace and the BKB. That is a dead Drow Ranger. GH looks to be next, despite Carapace not in time because of the BKB timing there. Triple kill for Ace. Huge fight. Smash it. Did cost him a buyback though.
Why is everyone tipping Ace? That was Gilgir getting a dream stun. They're all just tipping Ace. He literally set that whole thing up with a double stun. Timber as well as TA.
Oh, and Roche
leads into Roche. This is so big for them. Again though, you gotta say, I think Borania got dusted again. Isn't that what happened? I think he got for a 3rd time in a row.
He's still popped out of his Shadow Blade. Oh, into a Gust. Yeah, we're gonna see the bushwhack again. Gilgir has been absolute god tier on this hero, by the way. I know some of it's set up with the Ironwood tree, some RNG there, but Tofu, okay, he has his egg, so not in that much trouble, really. Just trying to delay things here is Team NIGMA. Mind control. He might just jump in. The egg is there with the Sunray coming through. He picks up the shard on top of all of it, and Corrosion just gets bursted down eventually. Egg connects. Finally, and it looks like Timbersaw's next on the menu. 5 versus 1 essentially. The buyback onto Kuro, but will this matter? I mean, the 2 cores are available. 2K network lead for NIGMA. Roche at
Alright, they're going
30 HP. They're going to jump in the Miracle, but there's the Gust of Fall. A huge bushwhack again onto 2. Can they kill Miracle? Gets on the refraction just in time. Borania trying to do enough right click damage, but Miracle with the BKB can't sustain it. Buyback is available though on this Storm Spirit. Now the BKBs are gone. Ace has to pop his BKB, gets that Sunder off onto Kuro. This will be a dieback onto him if he's not careful. Phoenix jumps in as well. Has already used basically everything. Has to be careful as Ace needs to get this kill before Tofu takes a tumble. That is a dieback onto Kuro.
Mind control holding his the whole time, not buying back for this fight. They do have the outpost, so he could have TP'd in. But instead now they're giving ground to Smashers who... There's no BKB on the TA. I think going in this Miracle here is really difficult. You just get Dragon Tailed and you're in trouble. He gets forced away here. I like this from Rasmus as long as he stays alive. they're still not doing
Yeah, they
Rosh
just
in the
don't have the
meantime, though.
damage. Now that meta is down, they just have to...
10 seconds.
This is going to be one of those stalemates, I feel like. 15 seconds on Storm. Does have buyback. Oh my god, he might have to... I don't know. The Roach will get decimated by NIGMA for sure. They are now in the pit. 5 seconds on Storm. He can basically zip from base. But now they forced him out of the pit, so he'll have time to just TP back to normal. This is a huge turning point here, potentially.
They do have meta,
Smashers.
and they do have Dragon Form. Actually, everything except Sundra is ready in 10 seconds.
I jump on this Sibling, he'll get that kill right off the bat, but he's going to have to buy back in the game. But they get Rasmus in the end, and now the silence on Nia has to zip away. He did find IWW in the end. A pretty big kill as well. So essentially, it's a drow for a Dragon Knight, if you want to look at it that way. Ace has already popped the meta. Now he's almost forced to go for this Rosh. And NIGMA just need to try to delay this as long as possible. It's already half duration on meta. They got the troll in the meantime. Miracle. He's ready to go. I don't know if they can take this Rosh anymore. So...
I think they want to try to find a pick, but they've lost their Dragon Knight, so the guy who has to go into the Storm, he's a bit worried about committing, I think.
Yeah,
So we're
for
going
sure.
to steal a tier illusion here?
Ace's meta is almost done. Ooh, this is risky business right here, my friend. Chakram gonna scout things out. A lot of damage being done. Roshan popped into his melee form. There's the egg from the sideway into the Sunray as well. Roshan is taken out by the Smackers. Michael gets stunned in the meantime. Nia picks up the Aegis. Not sure who gets the shard and cheese. We'll have to look at that a little bit later as Miracle pops his DKD with the refraction. Nia has to pop the Blood Sun to try to stay alive here. Tofu finally taken out in the end. Stay 1-for-1 to start things out. Borneo with basically no mana to speak of. They just need to get the hell out of here. But the Impale, mana burn, right clicks. That is the Aegis down. He's going to be full mana, full HP now. GH getting some with another Bushwhack. Spike Carapace is there. But there's the Gust from the side. Now LTW showing himself from the shadows. That Shadow Blade for Nia. This is going to be a sneak and then from after the Aegis. And Rasmus is going to pop his Dragon Form and died right after he respawned. Now Ace, he's going to get forced down by this right click. Too much to handle from Team NIGMA's side. Holy Jesus, what the hell was this fight? Good lord.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. Yeah, so
Right,
they had
Shard
the cheese.
is on PB right now.
Yeah, and he also got the cheese. He used the cheese in that final fight, very clutch, but it wasn't enough. But he used it at like 5% health against that next TA combo. But again, man, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but every time I look at Swan, he's blessed. Like, it was again and again. He's just dying to this.
Radiant's middle tower
He's
is
going
under
for
attack.
BKB now.
Yeah, he is. It is kind of late after he lost the lane of barracks, but I honestly think that could be what it takes them to swing the game around. Nice run here
Radiant's
from
middle barracks are
Gilgir,
under
but
attack.
NIGMA will do a great job here at punishing and getting this
Radiant's
mid
middle
lane of
barracks
barracks
has
after that
fallen.
fight. Like you said though, it's all over the
Radiant's
place and
middle
really
barracks has fallen.
I do
Radiant's
think
top tower
NIGMA's
is under
biggest
attack.
advantage right now is we've been harping on the Storm BKB. Dragon Knight is close to his as well, but he also doesn't have it yet. So this Timber Saw Nyx combo are just finding kills on heroes that they will struggle so much more to find very, very soon.
Keep you safe.
But for the time being, big win for NIGMA here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
This might sound weird, but they have a 6k gold lead right now, right? And in the last fight, I think it was 1. If these two BKBs complete, I think the fight will be harder for NIGMA than before, even with 6k gold more. Just because these BKBs really just changed the dynamic of the fight. Oh, they found him again!
Oh my goodness. 70 seconds. He has buyback. And now that they've taken this tier 2 bot, they can actually go for a second Rax and force this buyback out. You're right. This not having a BKB has been
Radiant's bottom tower
basically
is under
4
attack.
deaths, I want to say. He has 7 right now, so that's being generous, I feel like. Tofu, he's taking a lot of damage. We'll make it back to his fountain, though. And we talked about TA. GH, of course, does have the Aghanim Scepter now,
Radiant's
so
bottom
he's a
tower has fallen.
borrowed piece of dirt.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's
Ridiculous
bottom barracks.
amplification to
Radiant's
all his spells,
bottom
essentially,
has fallen.
in one way or another. That is a second set of racks, and now they're just going to go for a
Radiant's
throne to try to
middle
force his
tower is under
buyback.
attack.
He's going to have to buy back here.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
The dragon form, if they want to go up. Oh, the big up from Miracles, not able to get stunned. There's the buyback now for the here. It's basically nothing. It's done so, but does have buyback as
Radiant's
well.
middle tower is
By the
under
way, the
attack.
shard was picked up by Dragon Knight. I should use it. He already used his fireball. He's dead. And that is a dieback essentially. GH, alright, he's gonna get initiated on, but there's the egg on top of him with the sun ray, the red goes from Ace. It's not gonna be enough, so the Phoenix egg is taken out. Ace is gonna die as well. Ultra kill for Miracle. And just like that, game 2 comes to an abrupt end. And what the hell?
Wow.
Radiant's
Yeah,
ancient
as we know,
is
second
under
bush,
attack.
80% win rate, so when you get that, you obviously lose them. That's just,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that was such a swift punish from NIGMA. And